Good morning, Patriot family. How are you doing this lovely Tuesday? We are having a fantastic time in the studio.
Terrific Tuesday.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when we come back from that song, which by the way, that's Brielle Hart, Don't Quit. You can get it on all streaming platforms. But I'm always like conscious, like, when does the mic go hot? 'Cause some of the discussion before, maybe that needs to be a separate, like a paywall.
I don't even know, honestly. I don't know who'd pay for that. It's
interesting.
a little out of pocket. I'm just saying.
Well,
But that's literally the name of the show. So thank you so much for joining Out of Pocket Live with Allie and Michelle. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, sharing, liking,
and thank you, Talk
and other
Red.
things. Yes, and Talk Red.
Because Talk Red, we feel honored. Thank you so much. Guys, we've got a packed hour for you today. Federal fraud uncovered. Yeah, we thought USAID was like something huge, and now that was just the first thread on the sweater
of the iceberg.
Yeah, definitely. Also, California, they did it again. They defiled women's sports. I don't even know why they call
still doing this.
Why?
I don't understand.
California. And speaking of women face trans women period cycles, celebrating it in Boston. You can't make this up.
But we can't celebrate, real women's periods, just the trans.
I don't even want them celebrated. I'm just saying, if you're not doubled over in pain, you don't get to claim it.
All right, well, let's open that mic and get out of pocket.
Two queens, no filter, say what they feel. Allie and Michelle keep it way too real. Politics, family, yeah, we go there. If it's out of line, we don't care. It's out of pocket. It's out of pocket.
It's out of pocket.
This is new coffee. This is different coffee.
Yes. So
it's pretty. It's
I'm trying to wean myself off of the mermaid. So now we have a tail of the fox, and
not in a furry sense, but
they're fantastic. I mean, it's great coffee. I love their dirty chai. I always get 2 extra shots. It's a dirty chai. It's so probably.
So Allie is a coffee snob, and we know this because I love her, because she'll look at some of the things that she's like, you're gonna drink that? And I'm like, it's dark, it's sweet. I'm not describing a person. I'm saying it's coffee, and it's just coffee.
No.
So, and she's like, no,
not all coffee is made equally.
It's kind of like Republican.
That is actual statements there, ma'am. Factual statements.
Somebody that I wasn't a huge fan of, but this seems to be the tale that's being told time and time again when it comes to the Trump administration. Dr. Oz, when he was sat as CMS.
Yes. I mean, I remember his show, and I remember he would push vaccines really hard. And I'm like, Dr. Oz, everyone loved his show because he was so honest. And there used to be a show called The Doctors where he would frequent.
Yeah.
And I liked them too. But then I was like, y'all are bought by pharma. So maybe not.
Pharma, mainstream media. So, but
definitely not but now
the fraud that's coming out. So it's not just Minneapolis, and it's not just California. He is going deep in the heart of Ohio. And the reason he's there, Allie, is because he is specifically focused on Medicaid fraud. This is a big, huge federal program. Trump said when he was first inaugurated that, listen, you do away with the fraud, you'll balance the budget.
For sure.
And everybody was like, no
way.
And so roll clip.
I think go ahead.
Columbus, Ohio is home to the second largest Somali population in the entire U.S. after Minneapolis. And I'm standing in front of the LaBelle Home Healthcare Company, where it used to be, when its owner, Najumi Tatsing, was recently sentenced to 3 years in jail for Medicaid fraud. Now, Ohio Medicaid paid $5.7 million for home health aid services when the company inflated the hours of services. They billed for registered nurses, none were present. They billed for care of people who were dead or ineligible to receive Medicaid. Now, charging for dead people is a bad look when you go to court. We use data mining to identify the subcode against corruption. I'll give you an example. Franklin County, where we are now, alone by itself accounts for more than a third of the $1.5 billion spent on home health care in Ohio. That is 3 times more than what would be expected. The process, that statistic. The corruption is so widespread here that over a third of the entire state's home health care budget goes to this county, which is 3 times more than you'd expect. He also identified 288 Medicaid-registered home health aid companies operating out of just 7 office buildings along one nearby road. Some of these buildings are nearly vacant. Home health care and personal care services have become the subject of nearly all of the recent fraud prosecutions in Ohio. Everyone's upset about criminals billing for services that were never rendered. There were ghost visits, time fraud. The Ohio auditor found that almost half of the personal care services claims had no electronic verification. We don't even know the visits happened. This is fraud at scale. As a result, Governor DeWine has asked the federal government to allow a statewide 6-month Medicaid moratorium on new home health care businesses, right? We're allowing that. Within 24 hours, we're given permission. And I'm proud of that, because if we do this the right way, people will stop using Medicaid as a piggy bank. Vice President Vance, who's from Ohio, wants the White House anti-fraud task.
Wow.
I just left you.
I mean,
Okay, it's making sense now because I used to work for a Medicare Advantage company.
Okay.
And I know we're talking about Medicaid, but hear me out. Home health, right? So the number one complaint, actually there were 2. The number one complaint though was I did not switch my Medicare to a Medicare Advantage. And so they had to develop a way to track, because your elderly mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle are largely dependent on somebody else when it comes to technology. And second of all, when they needed home health, whether it was after a surgery or, just to do main activities, like whatever activities, people were waiting. Think about coming out of a knee replacement or a hip replacement as a 68, 70-year-old person, getting sent home, being told you need some kind of home health, and you're on a 3-month wait. And yet I've got 12 companies that I'm trying to call, but none of them are answering the phone. None of them are returning messages. This explains a lot.
I wonder how long this fraud has been going on.
Well, that was like 6 years ago.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so, I mean, that's during Biden administration, isn't it? 6 years ago?
Biden. Jeez.
This is crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm astonished at the level of fraud that we're uncovering. This administration is uncovering. I think President Trump is correct. I think when you get rid of the fraud, maybe if you get rid of the Democrat Party, we'll completely balance the budget.
Well, I think we found the cojones for the Democrat Party. It's the ones that are committing fraud. Because how big of a pair do you have to blatantly rip off the American government, and then like
elderly people, and then you're mad like that it's being found out. How are you upset about that? I don't understand. That is very weird.
So hats off.
The audacity.
And hats off to CMS. They've got a huge Doge was just the beginning, y'all. And then I didn't include it here, but Vice President J.D. Vance is trying to convene a roundtable on fraud. And so many states are like, we don't want to be a part of it. Well, no kidding. You don't
obviously not. Well, this is what makes Florida so unique. And I'm going to always bring it back to Florida because Florida is leading the way nationally. It's tip of the spear in getting President Trump's agenda pushed forward through our states.
Yes,
so we have our CFO, Blaise Ingoglia, who is quite literally doging everything, and he is finding all kinds of fraud at the local level. And it's astronomical how much local fraud there is in almost everything.
I know.
So when he calls them out, he's getting like news reports and mayors and city councils like all in their panties in a bunch because you know what I mean? Like they're just like, wait, what do you mean there's fraud? There's no such thing. It's crazy.
And here's the thing, like I'm all for,
you can't argue it.
No, you really can't. And I'm all for like local control, right?
Yes.
And I don't want the state to be able to come in and just, start dictating things to local jurisdictions. But when have you ever known government spending to expand and then shrink? No, your wallet shrinks and the way you spend shrinks according to your budget. But it's never happened through the government.
Right.
And I think to come in and say, stop that.
Yes.
And
we're tightening that belt because families are suffering every day.
Yes,
families have to balance a budget every day, but our government doesn't have to. And I think that's what makes the difference. I know that is what makes the difference with this administration versus others, which is why he is literally only the tourniquet. And if we don't get more people in the House that are constitutionally sound, that understand what President Trump's agenda is actually trying to do for the American people and know how to message it properly to their constituents, then because that is a two-part situation. You can't just support the president and not know how to message his agenda. You have to be able to message his agenda to those that are constituents that are going to vote so that they understand what he's doing. Because when you're at this level, it's hard for you for others to understand when they're like not at that level, because we eat, breathe, and sleep this. So
you're so right. And I think, most people, so it's just like legislation. They purposely make it difficult to understand.
Well, it's legalese and it has to be.
But
because it's law.
But it's your job, I believe, as a representative, whatever level you're on, to make sure that your constituents understand the message.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And to break it down, and very few people do that, which is why I think we've been successful in what we do as well. Well, the fraud doesn't stop there, Allie. Apparently, this is going to break your heart. First, what did I tell you? There's no new rule book.
Makes me so angry.
For Democrats. They create the problem and they make money off of the solution to the problem. So autism has been something that's been on the radar of the Trump administration, especially under Secretary Kennedy at the head of NIH. Well,
HHS.
I'm sorry, HHS. And you see what potentially could have happened with a lot of the injections that kids get. But
which, by the way, Florida's the only state, the very first state to remove all vaccine mandates, not just for school, but period. Thank you very much, Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo.
6 years?
Yeah,
6 years.
This has been
that's been a fight with a conservative, with a Republican governor and Republican Senate and Republican House.
Thank a mom.
Thank a mom.
Thank a mom.
Or an injured, vaccine injured child, because
thank a mom.
That's what moved the needle, unfortunately. Okay. Unbelievable. Well, so now we've got the real pandemic: autism, learning disabilities, and immune compromised children because of what we put in the vaccines. Well, now there's an autism therapy that apparently is also being frauded. This broke, kudos Fox News, but let's take a listen.
Now we'll audit all 50 American states looking for potentially massive fraud in the billing of autism treatment. This is happening now amid a recent explosion in spending on autism services. North Carolina alone apparently saw an 11,000% increase in the last 4 years. Why was that? Good question for Alexandria Hoff, live in D.C. Alex, hello. Good morning.
Hey, Bill, yeah, it is a good question, because according to that data coming out of North Carolina, the use of taxpayer-funded autism services is significantly outpacing the number of children being diagnosed. So something's not right there, and it's not just in the Tar Heel State. A recent analysis by the Cato Institute found that in 5 years, Medicaid billing has surged in every other state that makes their data public for money spent on ABA therapy. It's applied behavior analysis. That's what it's called. For reference, Minnesota's ABA spending increased by about 51,000% since.
So let me tell you about ABA therapy. ABA therapy was a godsend for my son. And not just my son, but my daughter as well. We had a private company that went through TRICARE. We had to get her approved and jump through 800 hoops in order for that to happen, because, military families, why, I don't understand, but whatever. It's government insurance. Yeah. So it takes forever for the stuff to get approved. Yeah. But with ABA therapy, you can buy specific things or anything really that helps your child calm down. So for us, a lot of the times it was trampolines, because they were like hyperactive and like you needed to be able to get that out in order for them to let's read like a page, and then you can go and jump around for like a minute and then come back and then let's read a page. Or you can get like the balance beams to help with their balance. And like there are neuroscience that supports certain activities for children with hyperactivity or autism, specific kinds, depending on what side of the spectrum you're on. So you can have a lot of these like things that you're allowed to purchase, right? And so and it's the same thing with school choice, right? Where you do this and then people are like, wait, why are you doing that for this? But you're not in my household and you don't understand my child and you don't understand what kind of therapies we need. But I think that is why there might be a lot of this fraud. Also, we have parents, not all parents, but we do have some parents that will buy these things or utilize this service and not necessarily need it. Or their child is doing better. Yeah. And they'll like force their child or make it seem like their child is not in order to keep the funding coming in.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not one size fits all. What I'm thinking of is all of the insurance companies and all of the businesses that hire medical, medical coders and billers.
Mm.
We found, going back working in the Medicare and insurance industry for just a brief moment, we found that that was one of the biggest things that people would do. You get your bill from your emergency room visit and you feel like it's higher than it should be. Your insurance company typically will take that bill and they'll go and ask for the ICD-9 and the CPT codes to see how they coded it. Because, you could have a diagnosis of A, but if they went B, C, D, E, F to treat it, you can argue that that was not medically necessary, but most people won't go that second step. So if you don't have a way in our government to go, who's looking out for Medicaid and Medicare? I mean, you've got Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield. They pay people to go through your medical bills and make sure that things are being coded and charged correctly. But who does that for the federal government? Who is the one that's the checks and balances for the paycheck that you sign every
There's
day?
supposed to be someone. Where'd they go?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do they need to be brought back? Is this, what kind of department is this?
Like a message
should,
at the beep.
it should already be, right?
Yeah.
Something that is occurring. There's checks and balances, correct? Like you can't, this is why there's oversight. This is why do we have an oversight committee? I'm sorry.
Financial oversight.
Why do we have an oversight committee if we do not have accountability through the oversight committee? Yeah. I'm confused here.
Well, and I wonder, Allie, if this is, and people talk a lot about AI and technology and how it's ruining things and how it's ruining things, and it can ruin things. And I understand the fear behind some of it.
I agree.
But if you like logging into your bank and seeing your account balance, plus you like being able to transfer funds between your own accounts with a click of a mouse, then you will understand that there's some technology, Allie, we could put in place to code it to stop this and to be able to budget it. And we actually have gubernatorial candidates that want to do that across the nation. And people are like, oh, they're bought and paid for by AI, or they want technology to work for you to protect the taxpayers. Like what?
Bro, it's already here. And in the music industry, like I'm just gonna let you know, in the music industry, there are people that are building lanes for this specific avenue. Like it is a highway that they're building. And they are like number 1 through like 10 on the Billboard charts of AI. So it's like they're competing even with like regular artists, but these regular artists have also used other modalities. You have ghostwriters, you have A&R, you have auto tune, you have all of these different tools. You have like what is that, the box where you like create the beat, and it's not like actual like instruments,
beats,
right? It's all synthetic. So what are you talking about when you have someone that is creating the music, creating the lyrics, putting it all together, and then creating like the avatar for the person to sing it or rap it? Like I don't understand what the difference is. But the reason why they're not being platformed the way that they should be is because the music industry is trying to figure out how to utilize this for themselves and capitalize and make more money and put the independent artists out of business.
So they're trying to stigmatize the independent artists that are using
So it's the same thing with in other industries. You have already big corporations that are utilizing AI and trying to figure out how to maximize their profits while using AI, and putting the small guys that are trying to figure it out already on their own, or already have figured it out on their own, the independent dudes that are doing it on the local level, right? They're trying to put them out of business. So what some gubernatorial candidates are really trying to do is they're trying to create this pathway in education where our students are learning how to do this, how to code it, how to maximize it, so that when they get out of high school and into college, they already know how to do it, and they can utilize it to maximize their profit.
Yes. I've heard so many people try to be, Allie. That's a great point.
It's a trade. Why not?
Other side of, AI and music and AI and artists. And this is my thing. Like, how many times do you gripe and complain that somebody sampled your music,
that part,
and you're not getting copyright, and then it's copyright infringement, but you're not getting any royalties?
That part.
You know what could solve that? an AI tool that can sense when, what is it, 3 or 4 harmonies are brought together. You can tell when something has been copied to a certain extent. They use it now in schools to tell whether or not, first of all, there's a system that they use to tell if AI has been used in your assignment. And there's an AI tool that they use to see if you have infringed on somebody's an article or a book that somebody's written to plagiarize.
Yeah.
We could use that in the music industry too.
You can use it in every industry. I don't
make
understand.
it work for you.
Well, because if you don't, those that are doing it, like in Japan, right, who have the highest, I think, reading levels, the highest technology levels in their students from like even in grades like in elementary school. So they are going to take over the jobs that we should be implementing here in America. If you cannot make America a superpower and lead the way, lead the world in what we're doing, if we're not implementing this in our schools, I just don't know how you do it.
It's the same thing. We tried to say that, we couldn't talk to children about, how to stay safe online and things like that. Well, what happened? They became a huge predatory market. And so
because there weren't guardrails and there weren't safety nets.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We've got to get ahead of the curve. Speaking of getting ahead of the curve, somebody who has gone way ahead and above and beyond mainstream media and what you would consider journalist duties is Nick Shirley. Well, we told you here on Out of Pocket Live that California is attempting to pass the Stop Nick Shirley Act, which would basically hinder independent media and journalists from showing up on properties, public properties, to be able to conduct interviews and really develop stories to be able to tell you and I live. Right.
This violates not just the First Amendment. It does. It's the First Amendment, which is free speech and freedom of the press.
Yeah. Well, the California Assembly did pass it, guys. It's AB 2624. This bill will criminalize not the fraud, not those that come here illegally, not those that vote without being a U.S. citizen, but this will criminalize investigative journalism involving the immigrant population. It's making it illegal to expose like the Somali Learning Center, for example, in Minnesota. If that were done in California, it's going to make it impossible to talk about the hospice fraud that's been going on in Los Angeles. Let's take a brief listen to Nick Shirley. It's a long clip, so we'll listen to just a portion.
California is actually crazy. They just passed AB 2624, aka the Stop Nick Shirley Act, to make it harder to investigate and expose fraud inside of the state of California. Now this bill, AB 2624, is so bad that just since March 26, they've already created 4 different versions of this bill because of the pushback that they have received, because it is a direct violation of the First Amendment, and quite literally they are trying to shill other people, not just journalists, but anybody inside the state of California, to look into fraud, specifically inside of immigration support services providers. They're trying to make it illegal to expose fraud. And so after making more than 4 different versions of this bill, they voted on it again inside the California State Assembly, and it passed overwhelmingly with 49 votes saying yes. And what's concerning about this is now it will go to the California Senate. And when I actually confronted these people about this bill a few months back, one of the persons who is actually in the Senate in California, his name's like something with Wiener in it. I think it's like Scott Wiener. He even said that I was a psycho scam artist.
Can you give us your opinion really quick on AB 2624?
I think you're a psycho scam artist, so...
You think I am? Please disclose how you think that.
And so this bill passed, and now it's going to the Senate inside of California. But let's hear what Mia Bonta had to say about this bill, as she's the one who created this. And then we're also going to get into the nitty-gritty and the conflict of interest with Mia Bonta. So let's hear what Mia Bonta had to say about this bill.
AB 2624 we've taken clarifying amendments in order to address feedback from First Amendment organizations.
She knows the bill is so bad that she had to take back feedback from First Amendment organizations, because this bill is a direct violation of the First Amendment. And now they try to do different things in this new version of the bill, but if you read it over again, it is still a complete violation of the First Amendment.
So what does AB...
So does this, now what happens? Do the people of California push for this to go to the Supreme Court? Does Nick Shirley get the opportunity to push this through the Supreme Court?
I think if it passes, I'm going to say when it passes the Senate, the state Senate, because I think they've got, and then you have, if you go the next mile where Governor Newsom signs it into law, then I think that's where it goes to the Supreme Court. Allie, I'm glad you brought that up because we deal with this on the state basis too.
Oh my God, all the time.
Sometimes you're like, it's so painful to know that some organizations are going to constantly try to push back against state law.
Right.
This is an example of where it's actually really good because whether you like the state law or you don't like the state law, taking this argument to your state Supreme Court or the national Supreme Court does solidify it. And
it does.
Or it solidifies the other side.
I just don't have much faith in the California Supreme Court because that will set precedent. But how do you set precedent for something that violates the law of the land? And this is where I think we need to start figuring out how to impeach judges for derelict of duty, because you can't, in your judgeship, violate the Constitution.
Yes.
You cannot. It's illegal. You can't do it. And so who's willing to do it?
Here I am, Lord, send me. How many of you guys are going to go out and become constitutional attorneys and sit on a bench somewhere?
Someone, please.
That is a fragile industry. If you've followed Chris Ann Hall for any length of time, she'll tell you, you think our medical facilities and medical higher education facilities had a hard time because they've done away with trying to find home remedies or naturopathic remedies to common things. Well, our law schools have done the same thing. They've abandoned constitutional law and gone strictly just to case law and precedents.
Yeah. Which is like
gotta be an overhaul.
Totally antithetical to like everything we've ever been taught. It's like, it's so confusing.
Because then you don't have a constitution.
Right.
If you can start to make judgments off of what's been done before, do you see how you constantly move? That's evolution.
Right.
Moving away from constitutional truth.
And honestly, there's certain amendments within our Constitution that I don't believe, I'm like, wait, why is this here? Because we already have a document that says that this is accurate.
Yeah.
So why are we not referring to the document, our Constitution, to support this? Why are we creating an amendment to the Constitution when the Constitution just actually like lays it out?
Yeah. Like
I don't understand.
You're so right. You're so right. That's part of That's part of the frustration with the not passing of the Save America Act in the Senate, is that it already says in our Constitution that our U.S. elections are only for U.S. citizens.
Why is it why do we need a law?
But you got states that are if we don't ask and they don't tell, okay, Clinton.
Why does it need to be a federal? I get why it needs to be a federal law now, but the only reason why it's like that is because we don't have a way to impeach federal judges and state officials that violate the Constitution. When we can create all kinds of government agencies, but we can't figure out how to weaponize the DOJ against those that are actually violating our Constitution. Why?
Yeah.
Cash. Can we get on a phone call, please? Because we need to figure this out, sir.
Yes, Mr. Cash. I know you're busy, but
when you're done,
Cash. But when you got time,
just maybe.
Well, Allie, California, while we're on
dates, please.
While we're on the
I'll join you on the date. let's talk.
I mean, while we're
we need to answer.
Just hold on.
I'm done.
I love you. There's two women. You don't think we're going to be jockeying for say something? I'm sorry, I almost said a name, but poor people that have to share tables with us repeatedly, because I don't think they get a word in edgewise. They're just like, oh, there's two of you. Okay, yeah, no. I love you, sis.
I love you. I'm sorry.
While we're on the subject of California, this breaks my heart. When Libs of TikTok picks it up and pushes it out, it's not really the list you want to be on. So there's a boy, a good sized boy too, like tall, muscular, pretending to be a girl, wins the California State Championship for girls triple jump, not in the men's division or boys division,
of course,
or create a trans division. No, in the girls division, they forced a biological girl to share a podium with him.
Absolutely not.
As he steals a girl's medal and title. Take a look at this photo. I mean, this
absolutely
breaks my heart. This is what Democrats stand for. Democrats you may think that you fought for women's suffrage, but you just put us back a few decades. Thanks for that. Thanks
Nope.
for that.
No.
Allie,
Why are we still having this conversation?
because California. So, Allie, I had somebody reach out and say, and I normally don't feed trolls, but this was I felt her. I could you ever feel someone's heart through a comment? I don't think she was trying to throw shade. I think she had an actual question. And her question was, why does everything have to be Democrat or Republic?
I get it.
And I understood. It wasn't like she was trying to beat me up. She really had that question. And if you don't live in this environment, in this arena, that is something that I think you're eventually like, well, I don't understand. And this is why. Because when you look at the Democrat Party platform, they are on the 20% wrong of every issue.
Every issue.
And they aren't just wrong. They're standing 10 toes down about it.
Like the audacity for you to stand 10 toes down, knowing you're wrong. Like the mental gymnastics that you have to go through to seriously say that a boy deserves a gold medal
in a girl's sport.
In a girls only sport is just, I think you have a mental illness because this doesn't make any sense.
They push back Democrat. This is their platform. They push back against fraud. They try to push back against women's rights. They try to force us back into a time when everything was based through a race lens, because we just did away with that through a Supreme Court decision. When it comes, you can't vote in districts based on race. Wow, Martin Luther King's so happy about that right now, but the Democrat Party isn't. They don't. They want to push money into our pharmaceutical companies. They don't want you to find out about the fraud. Everything. So to this young woman, I said, listen, I normally would say it's good versus evil, but now they've claimed entire party organizations. And I'm not saying that all Republicans are great. I'm saying that it is that clear. That's why you have to drive it to Democrat versus Republican right now, because Democrats are on the wrong side of every issue.
Right. Now, why not compete in the boys and just take the loss?
Yeah.
Why not build your own lane for trans? Although
sure. And one of the biggest advocates that is against this is Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner. Remember from the Wheaties boxes? Now,
yes,
I don't approve of anything that person is doing at all, but we can at least find. He's like, leave the girls alone.
Can we?
Leave the girls alone. You're a biological dude. Put their lipstick on and go compete against dudes. I don't care that you do it with braids in your hair. I'm asking you to not infringe on our young daughter's right to compete. This is, and
it is almost equivalent, and it is almost equivalent to having, let's take sex out, gender, out of the way.
Okay,
let's put color on it. Let's put color on it. If all the girls are black, and the one white person that's in it wins because they're white, wouldn't the Democrats be having a different conversation?
Well, if BLM hadn't unraveled because they were a bunch of frauds, they might take that up. And if the Southern Poverty Law Center didn't create racism where there wasn't, they would probably take it up.
So I don't understand how is this not equivalent? Because it's not skin color, it's gender, and gender is not fluid, but skin color isn't.
And again, this is what happens when you have a mental sickness permeating through Trump derangement syndrome. You have women who fought for decades to be treated fair and equally in this country. Although I will say they were valued. If you look at any of the founding mothers of our country, it wasn't what your history books try to teach you.
100%.
But to have the right to vote, to have the right to do certain things in this country legally, that's amazing.
Did already through our,
and now you're trying to drag us back to competing against boys. First of all, whatever happened, and I'm not pushing for anybody to be made fun of, but whatever happened to schoolyard bullies that would if you were a dude and you bullied a girl, the kind of wrath that you would get from your peers, because it was dude, it's a girl. Why are you bullying a girl?
And it's not because girls are docile, because trust me,
we know a few.
We got some town boys that know how to throw a punch. And we got some girly girls that know how to throw a punch, okay?
Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Gina Carano.
So listen, We are not, but that doesn't mean that we need to compete with them.
But this is oh, I love this, Allie, because, okay, so when I was younger and I played sports and I used to get called out all the time. Remember when you used to have recess and you could actually like run around and play?
Yeah.
And they would throw me the football and be like, at the time my last name was Handle, throw spiral, because I could out throw any male at that time. Because there is a time when you're like young and it is kind of
flag football.
Yeah, but tighter spiral, 25 yards past any boy my age. And if I would have grown up in this decade, they would have told me I was a boy.
Yep.
So when I'm just a real strong woman.
They have co-ed up until a certain age.
Absolutely.
They have co-ed flag football and like soccer up until a certain age.
Yep.
So I don't understand why we're having this. I mean, can we knock it off, please, Callie? Like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is just ridiculous.
But don't move to Florida. Just
no.
Stay and fix it.
We're
stay and fix it.
We're full.
We're full.
We're full.
Bursting at the seams.
No, really. Like, it takes us 4 hours to get somewhere like 30 minutes down the street. Like, it is insane. Like, I'm not even joking.
That may or may not have
maybe 4 hours is a tad bit of an exaggeration.
It didn't feel like it's not. Morning, I'm telling you.
I'm just.
And every license plate was like a different license plate. It's crazy. Allie, when we come back after this quick commercial break, we're going to talk a little bit about the childhood vaccine schedule. This has been one of the things that a lot of us have had that we push back towards Trump, because if I disagree with him on anything, it was kind of his stance on warp speed, Operation Warp Speed. But this is kind of a good thing, guys. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from Liberty Cigars and more Out of Pocket when you come back.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com, because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
Let's check in our phone.
Ooh, sorry.
So I get this message, and so I'm running for office, and potentially there might be more announcements being made on this show. But I get this message that this particular organization is having a candidate forum. Ooh. So, you go and you can get at you. They ask you questions, blah, 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 blah. And I said to myself, is this organization truly nonpartisan? Or are you walking into the lion's den? A, it doesn't matter, you go anyway, but B,
that part,
it's really kind of crazy, because they're playing themselves off as this nonpartisan group. But that's why you go into those rooms anyway, right, Ellie?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the only way you're going to be able to pull. I don't want to give any secrets away, but when you go in there and you are 10 toes down on principle and you make common sense, and the people that have the common sense in the room hear that, because that's the place that they go, you'll be able to pull the soft Dems and independents.
Because when somebody can kind of chip away at that hard external, just irrational thought.
Propaganda. Where you have someone who's able to poke a hole through the propaganda balloon.
Take a chisel. It's okay, but absolutely, Allie. Well, and I think some people have been chiseling away at Trump. Thank God he surrounded himself with people that aren't necessarily yes people. You look at Secretary Kennedy, who at one time was presidential candidate. Kennedy said he would never vote for Trump. And then somehow there's this bridge that forms between the two of them, where the one thing they can agree on is that we want to see our children healthy
again.
And so take a look at this really bold statement that Trump made.
And it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby. Even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just break it up into, I would say 5, but let's say 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1. And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out and are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is. You know what aluminum is. Who the hell wants that pumped into a body? And there were rumors about both of them for a long time. But we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis B, again, that's sexually transmitted.
Which
why
that when they
fresh out the womb? Why?
Out the womb.
Why? Because you couldn't peddle it to prostitutes? Like, that's the reason. Did you know that Viagra was actually studied for like twice as long as the hepatitis B vaccine to infants? And it wasn't even placebo studied. It was studied against a different vaccine, which, because how does that make sense? Anyway, I 1000% support this with President Trump and his administration. I have been working with Kennedy and Children's Health Defense. I know Del Bigtree. I've every time I see him, I'm like, Del, it's amazing to see you again. No, but seriously, we've been able to push this information over the last, I don't know, 12 years.
Yes.
That I've been involved. So I think this is absolutely amazing. We need more transparency when it comes to the vaccine schedule. And there does need to be removal of formaldehyde, of the aborted fetal tissue, of the parasites, of the aluminum, and I like how Europeans say it, aluminium. Aluminum and mercury from the vaccines as adjuvants, because why are you pumping that into your children? Would you allow them to drink it?
Would you allow them to chew on it?
No, I would not put formaldehyde in a cup, a sippy cup, and give it to my child, no matter how diluted. I'm not doing that. So why am I allowing you to directly inject it into the veins of my child, where it permeates through the blood-brain barrier and the gut barrier, which is your first brain. So it's just, yes, thank you very much. Thank a mom.
Thank a mom.
Thank a mom.
And Allie, this is what this signifies to me, is that the one thing that I think you should look for in your leaders are the people that you elect are people that are not afraid to go get the information from the people who have it.
Yes.
And yes, we joke about being so driven by, by the right thing to do, that you always, step out there and fight for the right thing to do. But that doesn't mean that you're above reproach and that you don't ever have the ability to actually learn something new. Right. President Trump is not somebody who is a medical genius. No. So to have people surround him and say, sir, take a look at this. Sir, take a look at this. My only hope, Allie, is that he can get there when it comes to mRNA jabs, because I don't know why he was so emboldened by the people around him, I guess, to push. Maybe you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And you can always change your mind. So like, for example, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016 because I was blinded by media, which is why I want to push to get the Spin Act passed. Because why? I mean, you have media largely lying and propagandizing to you so that you don't. That was exactly their point. They didn't want people to vote for Trump. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, he won, but that's what happened. Yeah. People that were smart, right? And then afterwards I was like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't such a great idea.
But he got a chance to get in office and proved so many people wrong. And then it's
you don't know what you don't know.
And then he starts sidestepping a lot of mainstream media and delivering the message directly to the people. And then they really had a storm, because they're like, well, now we can't really control the message.
Right. And so that's what happened when they tried to censor everybody through Facebook and Instagram and X. And this is why Elon Musk has bought X and why they were trying to shut down TikTok.
So true. Do
you see what I mean?
So true, Allie. Yes.
So yes, you don't know what you don't know. And you can't hold people to their past, because if you don't want to be held to your actions in the past, you should not be holding others to their actions in the past, because it's not how you reacted back then that matters, or what you did back then that matters. It's how you show up now.
And how you voted, like I've had people that we've talked to that voted a certain way, and then it happened in our county commission, voted a certain way, got feedback from the community the community that didn't go to the hearing when they were voting, but after the fact, I guess,
Monday
morning quarterback, just, was like, hey, you did this. And they went, oh, okay, let's rescind the vote and let's go back. That is bold. That is bold, bold, bold. Speaking of bold, we love Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Didn't always agree with him on everything, but man, am I liking him in this role. One of the many hats he wears. Did you know it was his birthday?
Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday, dear. Yes, sir. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, guys.
Feliz cumpleaños a ti. You got to do it nice.
He's 55 years old. If you ever had somebody that has so many titles or names or nicknames that when you're singing happy birthday for their birthday party, you're like, happy birthday to Uncle, that's what they did with Marco Rubio. They're like, well, Secretary of
everything? Secretary of everything. That's what I would just say.
Anyway, 55 years old. Thought that was really, really cool. We have a relatively young administration.
We do.
It's pretty exciting.
We do. They're probably on NAD plus. With Secretary Kennedy, everybody's taking methylene blue. Everyone is taking glutathione.
You're welcome.
It's just, and vitamin B and B12. Like, that's what happens.
Everybody's making babies. Everything's working.
I'm afraid to be part of the administration. I don't know if everybody,
you make pretty babies.
Do you really should have some babies? Is that like a prerequisite?
Okay, I want to be part of the administration because the factory's closed and I can just work. Too much information on Out of Pocket Live today.
Funny.
But is it too much information? Because what? Well, we can talk about it.
Oh, Lord.
Allie, let's.
I don't want to end on.
I know we're gonna listen.
Marco's birthday.
I'm
sorry. I'm throwing a temper tantrum. I just don't want to talk about this.
She's like,
this is stupid.
She's like, unto. I don't want to. Okay, so
this is so dumb.
I love Boston. I love so much about Boston. They brought us Wahlburgers and New Kids on the Block. Thank you. But
a great founding city.
Boston
is an amazing.
What were you thinking? Take a look at this.
Lord Jesus.
Oh, the Boston Public Library.
A public library.
Tax funded. Trans period pride. It says join Mass now and the Massachusetts Trans Political Coalition for a consciousness raising discussion on menstrual equity and the experience of trans menstruators. What?
Men cannot.
They're going to cater dinner and they're going to get free period underwear provided to all attend.
Men cannot.
Free period underwear?
Men cannot have periods.
Is it tuck-friendly underwear?
Because they do not have a uterus.
Listen.
So you do not shed the lining of your uterus.
Thank you.
I don't care what pumps into you, what medications you're injecting into your fat folds of your skin to imitate the pain of a period. But and I don't care what fluids come out of you, it is not a period, sir. And if we are not doing red tent ceremonies for women and girls and celebrating girls when they do go through that, because they need assistance, right? If we're not teaching boys how to, I don't know, not cater to girls, but if they see a mancha, a spot on a girl, you take off your jacket or you hand her a shirt and say, baby girl, you got a spot on your pants. Not trying to be rude, but maybe go to the bathroom. I'll walk you to the bathroom. Like, this is the kind of consciousness we need to have around periods. Can we have an actual discussion about periods? Because you know how many men are married to women that don't know how to cater to women, don't know how to care for women when they are on their cycle? Do you know how many women don't know how to care for themselves when they're on their cycle?
Do you know how many women are told we can't talk about this?
But now we're going to open the discussion to men who want to pretend to be women. Please give me a break.
I tell you what, I'm going to need something stronger than a break. This is, yes, right?
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
I can't. This is just ridiculous on so many levels.
It is ridiculous. I can give you a quick update. I checked late last night. This event has been canceled.
Thank goodness. Because wow.
Because even Boston, as far like left leaning as you tend to be, I think Boston is home to historical Democrats. If you're a Democrat, I think that that's what I mean when I say the Democrat Party has left Democrats, because they've just gone so far left.
They're politically homeless, and they've gone to the walkaway movement because they're like, I don't know where else to go.
Absolutely. There are so many things wrong with this. Listen, again, whatever you do as an adult in your life is your business. But we have a right as women to stand up and say, stop pretending to be me. You're not.
If it's not okay to culturally appropriate, then it's not okay for you to gender appropriate.
And you know who's behind this? You know who is 100% behind what we believe in this? A lot of the LGBT community.
Yes.
I mean, LGB community.
Yes.
They feel like they've been hijacked by the rest of the alphabet. And it's worth looking at, no matter what you feel about these people's personal decisions. I don't have to like it. I'm saying
stop having my tax dollars funded.
Yes. Oh, that part. And where I draw the line is when you force other people to be okay with it. And I draw the line where you de-womanize true women. That's not the game we're going to play.
Like, even when we create like nonprofit organizations like moms groups, I'm not asking taxpayers to fund it through the government.
Right.
I'll maybe ask for the library to host an event, but if they say no, then I'm hosting it at a friend's house or at a park.
Yeah.
Or at a different location, a private business that supports that kind of thing.
Sure.
Which is what we had to do, because under Biden, we were told that we were a danger to society. We were told that we were domestic terrorists. So a lot of businesses wouldn't support us. A lot of public areas wouldn't support us. Like, even though it was a public place, they wouldn't support us, wouldn't host us.
Oh yeah.
So I don't understand why you can't build your own lane. Why not build your own lane and have your own community where you discuss this? Bring in people, bring in experts if they exist, and have that discussion. Why is it that it has to be, one, in front of children, two, utilizing my tax dollars? Because I don't ask you to utilize my tax dollars to do much of freaking anything else.
Right. Exactly. And that's part of the cut in spending. We'll go back to the beginning of the show with fraud and looking at where there's waste, theft, and fraud and abuse going on. It goes back to get your hands out of my pocket.
Thank you.
And we always believed in this country that nobody else could spend your money as wisely as you could, because you earn it. It's not the role of the government. And so I believe that, Allie, very much so. If we could just leave, can we just leave it alone? And that goes for education. Give the tax dollars back to the parents, let them choose. That goes for, as we're seeing here in Florida, property tax. Live within the means of what, listen, I love how our governor put it in that press conference we were at. He said, listen, since 2019, our housing prices have doubled, if not tripled. And you can't tell me we're using double or triple of the resources and services. So there's places to dial back in that.
100%. 100%.
And we went through COVID where they just,
it's over,
pimped out money, grants, all these things to people. It was a way to shift money throughout this entire nation. And now it's time to dial it in, because we're done.
It's money laundering, and we're done. We can't survive off this, because a lot of us can't afford our own homes. We can't even buy our own homes. So I don't even understand. Anyway.
And not to go back to the trans period thing, but
Lord Jesus,
period underwear is expensive. And maybe what they could do to honor women is they could donate whatever they were going to give out to these trans men who don't truly menstruate. They could give that to young girls.
Maybe in the foster care system.
Yeah. Well, that's it for us.
Just ideas. I don't, because we're just full of common sense here.
Somewhere there, my aunt is in heaven. Like, I can't believe she's talking about that on the show. Because I remember we weren't like really supposed to talk about it. It was like, God, nobody wants to hear that. Well, nobody wants to go through it, but like 55% of the world does. So maybe we talk about it.
Thank you, Eve and Adam. We appreciate it.
Wow. I love that. Well, that's it for us here with Out of Pocket Live with Allie and Michelle. We're so grateful you joined us. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Don't miss a single day, not a day. 10 a.m. Eastern right here. Thank you, Talk Red. Guys, that is it.
We're going to catch you next time. And so make sure you keep that mic open and stay out of pocket. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Two queens, no filter, say what they feel. Allie and Michelle keep it way too real. Politics, family, yeah, we go there. If it's out of line, we